Hi, welcome, namaste to ARTYFY's podcast, Music, a Listener's Perspective. This is your host, Meeta, and we are now back with Season 2. Firstly, I think, I want to really thank all of you listeners because we did get a lot of feedback that trickled in through this break that we took. And I do hope that all of you join us through this Season 2 as well, just like you supported us through Season 1. So, Mauna, can you please tell us what Season 2 is all about?
Right. So, season 1 was all about vocal music, and season 2 is going to be all about instrumental music. All percussion, string, wind. So, the whole repertoire of instrumental music we're going to cover.
Since this is an instrumental series, we would love to take you through a very interesting journey of a fretless string instrument called the Sarod. In conversation with me today, we have a practitioner of the Sarod, Bhargav Mistry ji. Welcome Bhargav ji to our show. Glad to have you here.
Hello Mona and Meeta, and hello listeners.
Great. So Bhargav ji, as we know, there are several theories and perspectives on how the Sarod came into being, how did it get introduced into India. But one of the strongest theory that I have read at least suggests that it bears its origins in the Rabab, which is actually a Middle Eastern instrument. Can you shed some light on why and how did it actually land here and lead into a transformation into this beautiful instrument as Sarod?
Yeah, that's basically because during those times in India, especially in North India, there was trade going on between Afghanistan and India, and there were many of these horseback riders. A lot of them were musicians, and their music instrument was the Rabab. And its sound was so deep and enchanting that the Indian musicians of those times, they really liked the sound of that. But when they were playing that instrument, they figured that this was more like a folk instrument and not really a mainstream Indian classical kind of an instrument, because primarily it lacked in what do you call, the meend. Meend is a glissando. This was not possible on the Rabab. Plus, sustenance and meend together were absent in it. Some of our adventurous musicians, they experimented with the Rabab. The Rabab, structurally, if you look at it, it's made out of mulberry wood and it's got gut strings. Now, gut strings dampen the sound, but it also has a certain kind of softness. A meend will require a less dampened sound, so they put steel strings. Now, the neck of the Sarod, the fretboard of the Sarod, the Rabab, was made out of wood. Now, this was replaced with the steel, and it retained the dominant mellow sound of the Rabab. So that's how actually it was introduced into the Indian classical music.
All right. Yeah, I think there was a lot of science and mechanical structural changes that went through it, but perhaps we'll benefit from listening to a piece of the Rabab.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as wonderful as that sounded, we completely instantly understood the point you were trying to make, Bhargavji. So now if we move on, this instrument is in India and it got recreated into two very distinct styles and two very distinct types of sarods. So can you talk to us about that, please?
Yes. So the experimentations were happening in few different places, but mainly somewhere in central India, in Mayar, Ustad Alauddin Khan, who is the father of Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, one of the doyens of Sarod. And the other one was happening along with Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan and his father, Alauddin Khan, and his, earlier people also. The difference was like this, that one of the Sarod, that is a Mayer Sarod, is a little larger than the Senya Bangash Gharana Sarod. Now, the Mayer Sarod has got totally 25 number of strings, out of which 15 are taraf, that is the sympathetic strings. There are four main playing strings. There are four grown strings against two of the Senya Gharana, and there are two chikaris. Plus, there is a difference in tuning. Not exactly the way the strings are tuned, but the pitch. The Mayer Gharana pitch is either C or C sharp, and the Bangash Gharana is either A sharp or B. So you'll find that one of them sounds basser. It's got more bass. That is a Senya Bangash Gharana Sarod. Plus also the number of strings in the Senya Bangash Gharana are 19 against 25 of the other one. So it's a bit smaller in size, and it has a cleaner sound. Whereas in the Mayer Gharana Sarod, since there are so many strings, there will be so much of resonance also. But at the same time, since the Mayer Gharana, they use a lot of krintan. Now, what is krintan? It's a kind of a sharp sound. It's a follow-up sound after a note, or even before a note, before the main note comes in. Whereas in the other one, it's very fluid. The way you play it is very vocal and fluid.
So let's now listen to a piece from the Maher Gharana, Ustad Ali Akbar Khan Sahab.
structurally, the Senia Bangash Gharana sarods are mainly made out of teak wood, whereas the Mayar Gharana sarods are made out of red cedar, which is a bit lighter. Okay. The inner sound of the Senia Bangash Gharana also was very convenient for being able to play it as a vocal, in a vocal style. And Ustad Amjad Ali Khan's main aim was to, as he says, to sing through the sarod. So every composition that he plays are more vocal in nature.
So let us also listen to a piece of music in the same rag Pilu by Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab.
So most people might already know that Sarod is played with the nails, and Bhargav ji is going to do a very short demonstration of how this sounds when played with the nail and when played with the flesh of the finger.
Playing the strings with the flesh of the finger and playing the strings with the nail tips. This is the difference. First with the flesh of the finger. Now with the nail tips.
Bhargav ji, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Udaipur and giving your insights on the Sarod. So many things that we learned today.
Thank you so much, Mona and Nita. It really has been a pleasure to talk to you about this, and I hope the listeners will be able to appreciate the recording.
So, dear listeners, as always, we'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time. And you can look up the original recordings of all of these on YouTube. And you can also listen to Mr. Bhargav Mistry on YouTube.